Hey, Kentucky, this is Matt Jones. Tonight, the special session of the Kentucky legislature fell apart after less than 24 hours. We'll discuss why. And Vince Merrill joins us to talk about UK's big football recruiting class. That's next on Hey, Kentucky. Welcome, everybody, to Hey Kentucky, presented by Wendy's and Sullivan University. Drew Franklin is my co-host tonight. Drew, it's a big night, not Matt Bevin's house, but his special session. Are you ready?
I'm so ready. Let's do this.
Let's get started. We begin with politics. For years, Matt Bevin's been saying he was going to call a special session on pension reform, and he finally did it 2 nights ago, and it was adjourned in less than 24 hours. According to House Speaker David Osborne, not a single legislature in the Kentucky legislature had any input on the bill that Matt Bevin introduced. And they realized once he introduced it that there's no way they could solve this in 5 days. Too many people disagreed. So a group of Republicans got together with all the Democrats and called it quits right as we went off the air last night. Here's what Speaker Osborne, the Republican, and House Minority Leader Democrat Rocky Adkins had to say.
It caused them a great deal of consternation to come in here yesterday, to see the bills last night, when we finally got to see them and see that they were not what they expected.
You need to look in the mirror. And if there's any blame to go around, or you want to say, well, you've done that over the past 4 or 5 sessions or whatever, there's never been anything done in this chamber like was done last night.
Now, both members of the House agreed that the governor did not have everything ready for this event. Drew, it was a complete disaster. The Republicans tried to make it not look as bad as it was, but they didn't. And don't you think most of the blame goes to the governor?
Absolutely. I mean, this is his best failure to date. I think this is the one. What a joke of a session. I said that estimated $130,000 this cost, where nothing came even close to getting accomplished. I mean, what a waste of time and waste of money.
What's amazing is I was in communication all day with Democrat and Republican lawmakers, and they were all saying the same thing. We don't know what's going on. We didn't even know this was going to happen. Nobody knows what the bill looks like. And here's what's even the most amazing thing. Matt Bevin himself last night said, I didn't even read the bill. So he called a special session, brought everyone into town, and had a bill that he hadn't even read.
If I'm a legislator and you call me up, say, I got 4 hours to get somewhere the week before Christmas, we better be ready to get something done. Something better happen if that's going down, and they get there and nobody knows what they're doing.
Speaker Osborne, I thought, had the most interesting part of this. I mean, this is the Republican Speaker of the House, and they have a supermajority, so they can do whatever they want. He put out a statement today that basically said, look, we didn't write this, we didn't have anything to do with it, don't blame us. It was basically saying, my name's Bennett and I ain't in it, look over there.
Well, that just shows you how bad it is. Everyone on Bevin's own team is like, I had nothing to do with that. Don't put that on me, that's all him.
Yeah,
so
Ricky Bobby, don't put that on me.
Don't put that evil on me, Ricky Bobby.
You know, Rocky Adkins had to be sitting there. I mean, Rocky's is running, trying to beat Governor Bevin. He had to be like, you gave me a gift from the heavens, a complete disaster. Now, during the dramatic turn of events the last 2 days, state teachers, workers, lawmakers, nobody really knew what was going on as Matt Bevin tried to pass this bill. But what's even more confusing, as we said, is Bevin said he didn't even read it before he gave it to him. Here was Bevin's comments last night about this week's events.
They came up short. It happens. It's nobody's fault. It's just the reality. The votes are there or the votes are not there. It honestly makes me sad when I hear people celebrate and dance upon their own financial graves.
He literally, Drew, just said, it happens, it's nobody's fault. Do you agree with him that it's nobody's fault?
I can think of someone whose fault it is, and it's the guy who admitted to not even reading it. I couldn't believe he said that he didn't read it. I mean, I'm not encouraging the governor to lie, but at least tell us you read it.
You know, you were in school. I bet there were some times maybe you didn't read your homework, but you didn't necessarily raise your hand at the beginning and say that.
Yeah, if you're calling this together, I need you to at least tell me you read it and think you have a game plan together.
Yeah, I do like, though, how he looked defeated because he was. I still believe what happened was that when the Supreme Court struck it down, he just had a temper tantrum, and he just decided we're going to get our way. But the thing is, you have to prepare this, and it also shows he has such poor relationships with all these folks, he can't get it done.
It could not get it done. It wasn't going to get it done in 5 days no matter what. Hopefully it gets done in the next session here in a few weeks, but what a brutal failure on his part.
You know who's a big winner in all this? It's Jeff Hoover. You remember Jeff Hoover, former Speaker of the House. Matt Bevin said he should resign. Matt Bevin went after him. It was Jeff Hoover who got the group of Republicans to agree with the Democrats. The Jeff Hoover, it's almost like he's like, yeah, I got you back.
Yeah, I bet Bevin regrets being so harsh on Hoover in the past because Hoover came right back at him this time.
This was a big win for Jeff Hoover. I think it's worth taking a second and really looking at this pension issue in detail. Now, Matt Bevin's special session was a complete and total disaster, and it showcased one simple fact. His arrogance on the pension issue is only matched by his incompetence. Now, that doesn't mean that the pension issue is not a real one. It is. Let's be clear. The pension was underfunded for 20 years, and it was underfunded by both Democrats and Republicans. We had 3 governors, Patton, Fletcher, and Beshear, that all underfunded it. 2 Democrats, 1 Republican. The House was run by Democrats, the Senate was run by Republicans. And for 20 years, they underfunded the pension plan, and that's their fault. It also had terrible management. There are lawsuits going on right now about how poorly the pension plan was managed and the risky various bets that were made that not only didn't pay off, but were probably corrupt. We'll learn more about that. And then there was also bad luck. In 2008, the financial crisis hit, and Kentucky's pension plan took as big a hit as anybody. So all of those things combined to make a serious issue. The pension plan needs fixed. But we need a fix that is balanced to everybody. Let's be clear about this. A lot of people ask, well, Matt, what would you do? And this is it. You have to make some changes to benefits. I'm not saying you don't give people pensions, but it has to be adjusted. Maybe it's a 401k plan in certain aspects for future teachers, but it can't be the one they just did. But you also have to increase revenue. You have no choice. We do not have enough money in our state coffers, and there are ways to do it. Gambling, medical marijuana, these are things people don't want to talk about, but they're needed and they can help fix this. And also, you need to repeal the terrible tax cut that was given to the wealthiest 1% of Kentuckians last year. Here in the midst of a financial crisis, they gave rich people a tax cut and cut benefits. That tells you where the leadership's priorities were. Matter of fact, Matt Bevin's my way or the highway approach has to end. Let's be clear about this. Since the beginning of this crisis, Matt Bevin has been arrogant and dictatorial. He's told everybody what to do, and he hasn't listened to any other thoughts. So what did that lead to? An unconstitutional process that got struck down by the courts. His words trump everything, and they've made it worse. He called teachers thugs. He said they were too ignorant. He said the union was the one driving them. And what did that do? It made it to where the Republicans who genuinely wanted to fix this had no choice but to eat his words, and they got punished. Some of them even got voted out. And this all culminated in the last week in Matt Bevin's temper tantrum. He didn't get his way in the Supreme Court, so he called a special session. But he didn't even tell the legislature he was going to do it. Republicans found out the day before. Democrats found out 4 hours before. So they weren't ready for it. They had no agreement. And then the governor sent over a bill that yesterday he admitted even he had not read. Think about that. He called a special session to pass a bill that he hadn't even read. If that's not incompetence, I don't know what is. Here's the reality. Matt Bevin is now weak and he's ineffective. A group of Republicans joined with Democrats to come out against the governor. Republicans broke with their own party to come out against the governor. And then Speaker Osborne, the head of the Republicans in the House, came out today and basically said, look, we had nothing to do with this. This was the governor. The reality is neither side likes the governor, and most Republicans in the House will vote for a Democrat against him. They won't say it publicly, but they will. But the pension issue in Kentucky has to be fixed, and it's now time for Republicans and Democrats to seek a solution. Republicans need to invite Democrats to be part of it, and Democrats need to participate and not just call names. Governor Bevin has had his chance. But because of his dangerous combo of arrogance and stubbornness, he made a bad situation worse. It's time for him to exit the proceedings and for the grown-ups on both sides to take over. The state needs a solution. We know Matt Bevin can't do it. Now hopefully other people can. We're going to take a break and be right back on Hey Kentucky.